that had my picture and was posted anonymously saying, girls, be careful of this guy.
Because of all these shady behaviors, I was like, okay, maybe if we were in a relationship, it could fix that.
I ghosted someone for two reasons. One was that she didn't look the same as her photos.
For male, 29% say that they ghosted because they thought the other person didn't like them.
What?
We don't have an elevator pitch. We're like, just listen to us talk for 20 minutes and you'll understand why this podcast is called The Mindful Chaos. Yeah, this guy's a therapist, guys.
I just offended everyone.
You're gonna get canceled.
No, what? The podcast that serial killers hate.
Chaotic.
Okay,
Yeah.
and cut.
David, have you ever been ghosted?
Yeah, all the time.
All the time? Like 9 out of 10 times.
Well, not that bad, I think. 8 out of 10.
Oh, that's not any better.
No, it's so common. Like, people match all the time. Well, I use the apps, so people match all the time, and then they just don't talk.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think on the apps, it's easier to ghost before you meet someone.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But after you meet someone, I think statistics go way down.
I think so, but then even after, like on the first date, like after a first date, a lot of people still ghost. So like
Really?
apparently,
Okay.
well, we're already gonna go right into the stats. But yeah, people report being ghosted most often before the first date, and then after the first date, about 1 in 4 have been ghosted after the first date. Yeah, and then shockingly, 1 in 10 share that they've been ghosted after a month, like a couple months of dating.
No. Wait, that's horrible.
There's definitely like a time ratio of, when is more appropriate to get ghosted and when is the least appropriate to get ghosted. If you're just talking online, kind of feels acceptable, even though it's still not that great. It depends on how you ghost. But then after a couple months of dating, so there's a few different terms now. So ghosting is technically just ending a relationship with someone suddenly and without explanation. You just cut all communication, right?
Yeah.
Have you heard of this thing called Caspering?
It sounds like a friendlier version of ghosting.
Casper the friendly ghost.
Okay, go on. What is it?
You're still ghosting, but you're doing it in a nicer way where you just gradually reduce the communication with the person over time. It's also known as quiet dumping.
Yeah, I called someone out on that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I was like, we were going really well, went out a few times, and she just started getting flaky and non-responsive, and I was like, bro, if this is not working, just let me know. I don't want to waste time continuing this like half-ass text back and forth. I'm not looking for a pen pal. That's that's less than a pen pal.
That's true. But maybe she just felt like unsure of how to say, hey, I don't think it's working out. So she's
That's
like,
fair.
maybe if
I would rather get ghosted, I think.
Really?
Yeah, then it's like clean cut.
No, I'd rather get told.
Oh, you'd rather get told? Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it'll hurt more, but at least I'll get a definitive answer. With ghosting, like you said, it's kind of like should I still try harder or not? Because sometimes if I try harder, they still respond, and it does happen.
Oh, really?
Like, we might still go out and hang out.
I've never had that happen to me. So I just... Like, ghosting for me is like definite. It's not like a try harder. It's just I'll move on.
Yeah. Okay. So then maybe what I'm talking about isn't ghosting, which is there's another term which is called zombieing, which is when the ghoster actually tries to like they die. They let the relationship die and then they try to reconnect with you back again in some way without any explanation. So they might just come back in like 3 months and be like, hey, you up?
Oh, well, that's not for no reason, obviously.
Okay, yeah, there's
It's not. I've been going to therapy and I realized the mistakes I've made, so I apologize.
Nah,
it's something
my
else.
Relationship ended and I thought about you.
I had no one else new to talk to, so you're still here?
I have needs.
Anyways, okay, zombieing. Have you been zombied or caspered?
I have caspered. I am guilty of doing that. I don't think I've ever been caspered. I've definitely been ghosted. I think I've been zombied, but I don't think I realized it. Because I feel like sometimes you just think, oh, maybe it
They were
like that
busy.
person just got busy.
Oh, they woke up from a nap. Sorry, I was taking a
20
shower.
20 years. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, they've just
Sorry,
been
just
so
woke up.
busy. Like Sleeping Beauty. Like they got poisoned. I don't know. Maybe like they found someone and then they realized it didn't work out, and then they realized, oh my gosh, she's the one that got away.
Oh
And I'm
wow,
like,
that's
okay,
a very
hi.
fairy tale positive spin on zombieing.
Well, it sounds very toxic too, actually.
It could be true though. It very much depends on the relationship, like what actually happened.
Yeah. It's true. Talking about ghosting, I've definitely been ghosted. The guy and I have been seeing each other for 2-3 months, and he wanted me
long,
to like
3 months.
Yeah, pretty long, but like on and off, he's been a really bad texter. So sometimes he'll just like disappear mid conversation for 6 hours during the day. And I'll be like, what just happened? We were texting, having a conversation, and then all of a sudden you just decided to throw your phone in the ocean or something. I don't understand. Or you just fell asleep.
Yeah, probably.
During the day.
Wait, so do you ask him what happened?
Yeah, and then he would just give me really vague responses like, yeah, I just got busy. Shady. Doing some sketchy, suspicious things. Maybe he was seeing someone else. I don't know. Okay. But he really wanted to be in a relationship. And then I was kind of like, well, we barely know each other. Like, I don't think we should go there yet. But then because of all these shady behaviors, I was like, okay, maybe if we were in a relationship, it could fix that.
Yes.
God,
yes.
As I say
of
that,
course.
so many
that
issues.
That is the only logical way to fix that.
So many issues.
Is to have a kid with him. maybe he will be a better texter. If I start a family with this man, maybe he will respond.
He will text me back. Oh, wow. That's very extreme. Okay, well, that didn't work out. Don't worry, listeners. I did not do that. Basically, I was telling another friend all of this, and he suggested that I should not be with this guy because he sounds very toxic. Yeah.
Okay.
What in the healthy mindset would someone give me this kind of advice?
Wow.
But I decided to listen, which was good for me. But stupid me, I told the guy, like, in a last attempt to see if he could change, I told him, like, if this behavior doesn't stop, then, I was talking to a friend, he said it's not healthy, and then, I should stop seeing you. Yeah. And throughout the conversation, the guy was No, he was like replying. Okay. He was like backing himself up, and he was like, no, but I like really want to be with you. I'll try. Yeah. And then at one point he was like, wow, so you're just going to listen to someone else give you advice and tell you to leave me, but not, listen to me when I am telling you that I'm willing to try. And I was like, but you haven't been trying. Like, no change. There's been no change.
Did you stop replying him mid-conversation?
No, he stopped replying me mid-conversation.
Oh, he actually did.
Yeah, and like for a day where I was like, did you die?
That's like, insane.
Did you get into an accident? Yeah, and then that was it. And then just 2 days, 3 days, and then a whole week went by, and then I found out he unfollowed me on all social media. And I was like, what? We were literally in the middle of a conversation.
Wow. You dodged a bullet.
I definitely did. So toxic.
Yeah. Wow. That's next level. Yeah.
But yeah, that was my ghosting experience. I wish you would have just, like, it's so easy to just be like, listen, you know what? It's not going to work out.
Yeah. And I think that's respectable.
I'll be like, okay.
Like, people have told me it's just not there, like the compatibility or the chemistry, whatever. Like, it hurts to hear, but I get it. And like, good, cool.
Yeah, at least you don't have to think, wow, is it me? Is it all of these negative things that you come up in your mind? And then you think, did he walk into a car? Like, did he accidentally get pushed off a building?
Do you actually think those things?
Yeah, like my instant reaction is there was an accident. That's why I couldn't reply me.
I think I've got too many friends who text like that, so I actually just don't.
Yeah, a lot of the times actually, when people do that to me, I just text them back and I go, just let me know if you're still alive. It's okay if you're ghosting me, but just make sure you're still alive. Because how do you drop off the face of the earth when you've been with someone for 3 months?
Yeah, that's extreme.
Yeah, you just go cold turkey. I think that says a lot about their personality, though.
For sure.
I was doing some research, and there are actually some personality types that are more susceptible to ghosting. So this one
to like being ghosted?
To ghosting.
Oh, like, to ghosting. Okay.
To being a ghoster.
Okay, yeah.
Have you ever heard of this personality traits called the dark triad?
Yeah.
It sounds such like a mafia
It's
thing.
very dark. Yeah, it's actually very dark.
Okay, if I asked you to help explain it, would you be able to do it on the top of your head?
I just remember one of them is Machiavellian, but I don't remember the others.
Oh, it's good that you know that one because I was like, how do you even pronounce that?
No, because Machiavelli is like that guy who loved to torture people, I think, in history. So they based it on.
Oh, okay. So that is a personality trait that is very manipulative, and that type of people like to deceive and trick others to achieve their goals.
Right.
And then another part of the dark triad is narcissism, which is, being selfish, self-centered. You have a sense of entitlement, lack of empathy, and then a need for admiration. And then the last one is psychopathy.
Yeah.
Which is actually a mental disorder, and it's characterized by personality traits that include reduced empathy and remorse, a bold and daring personality, and usually have difficulty inhibiting behaviors.
Right.
So people with these kind of personality traits are usually the people that would become a ghoster. But I think, like you said, dating on the apps just makes it so much easier that I don't think this can be applied to people who ghost through text.
Yeah, because surely it's not that common. Like, all these traits aren't that common.
Yeah,
like, if it is, it's a very scary reflection on society right now. Yeah. Which could be true, which I don't know, right?
Like, innately, we all have like a small percentage of all three of those.
Yeah. I reckon we do.
I also think we do, but I think I think this refers to people who actually ghost other people maybe after 3 months. like 3 or more dates, maybe not just 3 months.
Yeah, I agree.
And then another personality trait that is more likely to ghost people is part of the narcissism group, but it's a personality trait called the vulnerable narcissist. So it's actually a narcissist who also feels insecure, has low self-esteem, and is hypersensitive to criticism.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I didn't know that this was an actual term, but once I read the definition, I was like, yeah, I can count a lot of people that I know that has these traits. Like, they're so full of themselves, but they're actually super insecure.
Yeah. I mean, they overcompensate.
With the confidence, right?
Yeah. And
then
they try.
Can never be told they're wrong.
Yeah, they try so hard.
What was your most extreme case of ghosting?
Nothing that extreme, for sure. I think it wasn't really ghosting. It was more, I had these phone calls, 2 or 3 phone calls that were really good with this girl. And then we were gonna go out. And then she suddenly texted me out of the blue saying, I don't think we're as compatible as we think. Let's not even go out. And then that hurt a lot because I was like, dude, on phone calls, you still share a lot. You still talk a lot about, yourself. And for me, that's not an easy thing. And then that happened. And I was like, oh my gosh, is it me? Whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then it happened again with another girl.
Also had a few phone calls.
Yeah. It was really good. And then she was just like, no, it's not worth it. I don't want to develop feelings if it's not going to work out. Huh? And I'm like,
wait,
okay, what? Girls, how are you seeing your future when we haven't even gone out once?
Yeah, and also what does it mean? I don't want to develop feelings if it's not going to work out. So they already know that they'll develop feelings for you.
Yeah.
But they also already know that it's not going to work out in the end.
Yeah, apparently.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's a bit worse than ghosting. I'd rather be ghosted.
But so you've never had someone who's just talked to you maybe for a month and you guys have seen each other or went on a date and then that person suddenly just ends all conversation?
No.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's why you think ghosting is better.
Yeah,
once
my
you
type
feel
of
that hurt, once you get that, you don't have an answer. Your imagination will run wilder than if someone actually told you.
Right.
I think we're not compatible.
Yeah, I've never had that. A couple of months, even. I rarely go out with someone more than a few times.
Okay. And I guess if it's through like texting, like random texting, and then someone just never replies again, I don't think that
it hurts much less when it's just text.
Yeah, because you barely know the person.
Yeah. Why do we think people ghost?
Yeah. Well, okay, so if you've never been ghosted, have you ever ghosted someone?
Yeah. Not proud, but I have. Recently, actually, this is a horror story of me ghosting someone. I ghosted someone for 2 reasons. One was that she didn't look the same as her photos. And secondly, because I had intense food poisoning for that period and I was just not ready to explain, like send a text to explain to her that she catfished me. The story goes, actually, that on the way to the date... Are you laughing at my food poisoning? Because that's nice.
Yes.
The story goes
that's
that I was
best excuse to like ghost someone.
I was on the way to the date, and I started feeling like some pain in my stomach, and I was like, "Oh, it should go away." And then I didn't want her to have to make all her way to the city and then me cancel. Like that would have been bad.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I might stay for like 30 minutes and then try to leave. She showed up and I was like, doesn't look the same as photos, whatever. I still treated her coffee like my treat. And then I thought, okay, 15 minutes maybe, and then we have a coffee. After a few sips, the pain was increasing like every minute. And like, I literally was like doubled over and like staring at her, be like, yeah, okay, keep talking. She was the one talking because I couldn't talk. And so she was like, are you okay? I was like, yeah, it's just a bit of pain. It's okay. But then 10 minutes later, she was like, no, I think, yeah, you don't look good. And I was like, yeah, no, I think I'm going to Uber home. And then she was like, cool, okay, let's wait for your Uber. I went into the Uber, I left, I went home. And then that was it. And then I was like, but I didn't even think about the date because by then the pain was so intense. I actually went to the ER. Then by that night, I was like, I had unmatched her on the dating app because like I was just like, catfished, and I can't be bothered to explain everything. So I just did that. And then a guy randomly sent me a DM on Instagram saying, bro, you've been blacklisted or something. And then he sent me a screenshot of a female-only Facebook group that had my picture and was posted anonymously saying, girls, be careful of this guy. He says he's ready to settle down and find a wife, but then he complains about having a headache. She said headache, and then he complains about a headache and then Ubers home and then ghosted me. And then he's not a good guy, whatever. And I was like,
wow,
bro, like I missed out a few key information. Didn't mention that I had treated coffee and that I had tried so hard to make the date, even though I was in pain. And then I told my female friends, and then they were like, we're going to join the group just to defend you. Because I couldn't post. I couldn't defend myself. So Dave actually posted for me and shared my side of the story.
That's pretty intense. But okay, throughout the story, in my head, I was like, Diva, just tell her you have food poisoning. Just tell her, like, your stomach hurts.
She knows.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay, that's weird then.
She just didn't believe me. I don't understand
why. It's like, do you want to see a video of my explosive diarrhea?
Hi, I'm at the ER, and my pain is 10 out of 10, and I'm puking, and from both ends, things like
yeah, again, felt cute. Might delete later.
Oh, the doctor's here. Talk to you later.
Maybe she did expect that. So she was like, what a bunch of lies. I had to fake a stomach ache.
Yeah, so I didn't feel like I owed her an explanation if she didn't believe me.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Wow, that is very extreme. I don't think I would do that to someone who ghosted me. Also after like a 30-minute first date. It
was just a coffee, like it was just a chat.
But I think I do more Casper than ghosting, actually.
That's all right.
Yeah, I just let the conversation die. Like, haha, LOL.
Oh, I hate that. That was what that girl did to me. I was like, I'm sensing. And I just went straight out, confronted her.
And then did she reply?
Yeah, she was like, yeah, I'm not interested anymore. And I was like, cool, see ya.
I guess that's a more straightforward way to deal with ghosting. When someone does that, where you're just like, listen, just tell me yes or no.
Yeah, I did that last week. So it happens all the time.
Yeah, I guess especially with dating apps, it happens more.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure dating apps are creating problems with communication and making that the norm. I'm a victim as well as a perpetrator.
Yeah.
Everyone is doing it, and it sucks.
I agree. I know that we say that we ghost because of catfish and incompatibility, but I think it's also usually like a us problem versus the other person's problem. We ghost because of our own issues. Like you said, like you don't like confrontation.
Yeah.
I also avoid these kind of conversations.
Yeah.
So then it's more the ghosters that have problems and not the ghosties.
Yeah, which means almost everyone has problems.
Yes, that's why everyone needs a therapist.
Yeah, right? Because it either works or you get ghosted, or some people don't ghost. No, nobody doesn't ghost.
No, actually, I've met a few people that just straight up told me like, I think we had one date and it was a pretty good date.
Yeah.
And we were texting a lot, and then just one night, I think we were trying to arrange for a second date, and he was basically like, listen, I think we're very compatible, but I think it's just the age difference. He was maybe like 5 years older than me, and he was like, like I'm in a different stage of my life, so I just don't think it'll work out in the long run. So I would just suggest us not to see each other anymore. And then I was like, wow, that hurt, but that was fair.
But that's also dumb.
Like, there was nothing else. But I was like, there was nothing else that I wanted to, fight back on. I was like, yeah, okay, makes sense. Bye.
Yeah. But to me, it's like just because you communicate doesn't make it a good reason.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there are ways around it if you really wanted to make it work.
He could have, and he could have lied then in that sense.
Yeah. But then I was like, okay, I will take that. Like, if someone's going to tell me a lie or a justification, no matter how stupid it is, and I'll just be like, at least they're telling me, even if they're making something up.
Right. Okay. Then
I can choose to accept it or not. But then if someone doesn't even tell you and you're just like making up all these scenarios, I think you end up hurting yourself more than the person who actually ghosted you.
I think it's because I'm comfortable with where I am and who I am now that the silence doesn't... Like, I just take the easiest excuse for myself, which is it's on them, and then I just move on.
Yeah. No, I think that makes sense, especially if it's just through text.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of the main reasons that I saw of why people ghost is like we were talking about, right? Like, people are just not interested in continuing the relationship. They avoid confrontation, and then some people are just stressed or overwhelmed by expectations.
Yeah.
And actually, at 29%, there are people who struggle with mental health that just ends up ghosting people.
Yeah, that's fair. And I think there's some external circumstances too. Like, sometimes people just have life stuff happening.
That's true. Then
but
maybe
like, it's very rare.
Yeah, like they suddenly got into a situation where they just can't
got hit by a car.
Talk to anyone.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my reasoning for everyone who ghosts me.
You're just very unlucky. Everyone around you gets hit by cars and they can't text you.
Yeah, or, their phone got crushed or stolen.
What?
It has to be an accident. It cannot be a personal choice.
No. Can't be that they don't want to talk to you mid-conversation.
No. God, is that vulnerable narcissist?
Nah, it's just outright. It's not vulnerable.
God. But then do you think there's a difference between why male and why female ghost people?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I think for guys, I'm not representative either, but it's just easier. Like, we can't be bothered, and we're not like wordy people. So if we don't like something, we just stop doing it.
Oh, so like more action-based, less talk.
Yeah. It's like, well, guys find it hard to use words most of the time. At the best of times. Emotions. Yeah, exactly. So for difficult emotions especially, then we wouldn't use words. We would use actions, which is stop.
Which is throw the phone away. Cut off.
Yeah, like your friend, mid-conversation.
Yeah. Not friend. I think for me, like I said, it's avoiding confrontation. And sometimes, to be honest, I just feel bad for... like ending a relationship, so I try to Casper to soften it, but maybe that's actually worse.
Yeah, I mean, as a guy, I hate that.
Yeah, because you're like, what is happening?
Yeah,
you sense something happening, but you're not too sure.
Yeah, it's like just as much confusion as ghosting?
So actually, there are some statistics on that, which I think most of the male and female reasonings are quite similar. So for example, for both male and female, male 52% and for female 48% say that they ghost because they do not have the same expectations for the relationship.
Right.
And then the only biggest difference is for male, 29% say that they ghosted because they thought the other person didn't like them.
What? Wait, what? What's the logic?
Actually, 20% of females says the same thing. I think that reasoning is if the other person might just not be a very good texter, or, maybe they're not sure if they really like you yet or not, or maybe they're really busy, so you just make up this scenario in your head and you're like, they hate me, so why don't I dump them first before they dump me?
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
I don't know, I just made it up.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So but definitely more male do that rather than female, because I feel like for female, not representative of all female, but me personally, I feel like if I think that person doesn't like me, I might just try harder to make them like me.
I would too.
Oh, I was gonna say, but I feel like guys sometimes are like, well, if you don't like me, then whatever, I'm not gonna chase you.
No, because I'm not like the whatever kind of guy. I don't have many options, so
you're like, please.
I'm not talking to 3 other girls. Please, can you just talk to me until I've got other options?
I think you won't go someone that you are interested in.
No, never.
Okay, yeah. That question, after I said it, I was like, of course not. Why would you go
yeah, exactly.
That you're interested
That's
in?
why it didn't make sense in the beginning.
Okay. Fair enough. I actually thought the disparity would be larger for this one. Was the reason is I was scared or intimidated by the person. But actually for female, it's 13%, and for male, it's 10%.
Intimidated?
Yeah.
By
so
what?
There's still... I mean, for a female, there's a lot of different reasons, right? Like that, this guy could just be making me uncomfortable. He's saying things that, like, he shouldn't be. Like, it could be, like, he's harassing me, or
that's
toxic.
fair. Okay.
There's also reasons where I would rather ghost them than tell them that I don't want to see them anymore.
Why would you tell them?
Because that could trigger them.
Yeah, honestly, no, ghost that.
Yeah, but I didn't think that men would feel the same way.
Well, yeah, there are some intimidating females for sure, and just because guys are maybe physically taller or whatever, it doesn't mean emotionally they can't be scared, I think, or intimidated.
Okay, fair enough.
Not that I personally have, but I think, I'm not that short.
Disclaimer.
I do work out. They can't hurt you, David.
Intimidating one.
They can't hurt you. It's just words.
Sticks and stones.
I just cry, but it's okay. I'm not intimidated.
That makes sense. So then, what do you do when you're ghosted?
I just move on.
Do you have to South Soothe?
No, I just like talk to.
They're like, thank you, next.
People. Yeah. But, it's taken a while, I think, just because I've been on apps for so long that you get enough exposure until you're, kind of acclimated to it.
Yeah. I obviously don't get ghosted anymore.
Okay. Keep flexing. Yeah, go on.
No, it's not true. You can still get ghosted by friends. You can get ghosted by family members. You can get ghosted by a company. But being ghosted by a friend, I think, hurts more than being ghosted by, a random person that you've been on one date with.
Yeah, I agree.
I think when that happens for me, I used to still try to find out the answer, which is not a very healthy, I think, response
for friends,
to being ghosted.
Or dates.
For dates.
Oh, okay, right. I think, I don't know whether it's unhealthy or not. It seems like it sounds okay, like obviously.
It sounds like it could be.
Yeah,
sounds like a green flag.
Before we get that far, but like, of course, we all want explanations, right? Like, it makes sense.
Yeah, but I sometimes feel like I try too hard to get an explanation.
Oh, okay.
And also because sometimes you try to get an explanation, and the ghoster, because they chose to ghost you, it means they don't want to give you the reason, right?
Yeah.
So they'll still, if I keep pushing for an answer, they'll take me in circles.
Right.
There's no actual answer.
Yeah, that's fair. Probably just means they're bad at lying because they have a real answer and they're not telling it to you.
And then I keep pushing and be like, that didn't make sense with what you said.
Because global warming.
I pull out all the receipts, like, you said this on that date. which makes your reason invalid. You told me you didn't drink on September 16th.
Fine. I just don't like your hair. I'm sorry.
On October 5th, you told me you liked my haircut.
Damn. Yeah, now I know what the unhealthy part is.
And then I'm like, I stalked so hard that I realized you ghosted me not because you thought we weren't going to be compatible, but it's because you met someone at this party on that day.
Oof. And you delete the story 22 hours before it expired. I know you were trying to hide it. And I tested it with a close friend story. And then
I made a fake account and followed the girl.
Oh my god.
It just spirals.
This is very incriminating. You should bleep it all out.
Delete all the fake profiles now.
And it's Claudia 1, Claudia 2, Claudia 3.
Oh god, okay, yeah, the spiraling is definitely not healthy.
No, I agree.
So I actually have been ghosted by a friend in high school, but that was definitely more traumatic than, being ghosted by someone in a relation, not in a relationship, but having gone out for 3 months or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think it's a matter of respect when you ghost someone?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think dating apps make it less respectful, or people on the apps just learn to respect each other less because we're not real people on apps.
Yeah, and you don't deserve an answer or...
Yeah. Probably don't all think like that. It's not like, oh, do they deserve one? No, therefore I will ghost them. It's not that laid out, but that's an implication, right? If you respect someone enough, even a stranger, you could probably give them an answer.
Yeah, exactly. And I felt like that's why the friendship one hurt more. Okay, do you think ghosting someone is good for your mental health?
No, not really. I think it's easy in the short run because it's path of least resistance and it's avoiding confrontation. But I think over the long term, it degrades people, or it makes you see less of other people's emotions, and then you just think of your own emotions. And even when I ghost, it just means I care less and less about the other person.
Yeah, and like you said, right? Even you being ghosted so often now, it makes you kind of desensitized to the emotion of being ghosted. And then you also just stop trying to figure out, is it me? Is it that person? And then it makes you feel like ghosting is more normal as well, because you're I'm being ghosted so often, then I might as well do it to other people too.
Yeah.
And that further creates your, if you have an avoidant personality, then it just continues to enhance it.
Yeah. And it creates a culture of avoidance.
Yeah, and then we're all just avoiding telling the truth to other people.
We all are.
And then you're like, well, I don't see anything wrong with it. Then does that mean nothing is wrong?
No. Just because we don't see it doesn't mean it's not wrong.
Yeah, and I think it definitely gets into the ghostee's head.
Yeah.
And even through research, there are people obviously who feel relief after ghosting, but actually 69% of people feel guilty for ghosting people.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And then 46% regret ghosting.
Oh, regret it. Okay. So it's a wrong decision. I wonder what they regret about it.
Maybe, or the emotion, sometimes you ghost people, but then you feel bad about it, and then it eats you up on the inside. So you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have ghosted that person. But you're too far along. It's 3 months later.
Yeah.
But I think there are situations where maybe ghosting is needed.
Yeah, I think the scared, intimidated thing. That's one justified one. Another one might be catfishing. I just feel like it's okay. Honestly, if you have the audacity to go catfish someone, you deserve to be ghosted.
Okay, but what if it's a minor catfish? They didn't realize they've gained weight. Or they changed their hair color and they kind of look like a different person.
Then you should make a note of that on your profile. It's not hard. Sorry, I'm bald now. I have no hair now, as opposed to hair in all the pictures.
Yeah, maybe because, something changed and then they don't feel secure about taking selfies now. So they use pictures from 4 years ago.
Okay. And how is that right for the other person to show up and see you as if they've never seen you?
But there are a lot of people who are it's like the Love is Blind show, you know? You build the connection first without seeing each other.
That's why that show is so messed up. You make it sound like that makes it okay just because it's on the show. No, it's not.
You're right. It is a very toxic show. Okay, that's another topic for another day.
Red flag, green flag. Is it red flag or green flag?
Red flag or green flag? Getting back with someone who zombied you.
Oh, I would, but depends on how justified the reason is.
So it's a green flag?
No, it's not really a green flag. I'd say it's me condoning a red flag.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy is desperate.
I agree. Depends on the reason. Like if that person was like, I had to change jobs and
to change buses so
going
some direction. They had a shower and took 2 months and then now they're back, so fair.
No, they're like, something happened and I just had to disappear for 3 months. But now I'm back and you're like, did you go to jail?
No, I was on the run.
But I'm back now. Are you free to go out?
Yeah, I would, but it's a red flag, I reckon.
I think it's a red flag. I mean, is there ever a good reason for someone to ghost you and then be able to come back and say like, lol, JK?
Oh, maybe it's like, oh, you scared me in the first date, but actually, as I follow all your stories for the past 3 months, I realized you're actually a decent human being, so...
Yeah, right? Like, if there was any legitimate reason, you should have just told that person, like, hey, listen, I'm going to be busy for 3 months. Can we come back to this?
That's fair, yeah. Especially if you like them. Like, it makes no sense to me. Why do a zombie? Because it means they liked you, but they just stopped talking.
Yeah, so you didn't like me?
Yeah, like, what happened? It means your situationship ended, and now you're here, and it's 4 a.m.
So it is a red flag, David. Do not condone red flags.
Yes.
Number 2, a friend who quiet dumps you after a fight. Red flag or green flag?
Red flag, I reckon.
But it's after a fight, so like something happened.
But I feel like if you're really actually good friends, you would work through a conflict, right?
Yeah. What if you realize it's something that you both just cannot overcome? Because it's the same as relationships, right? Like you could realize you're not compatible anymore.
Yeah. Then you would officially break up. But I guess with friends, you don't have a like, okay, we will stop being friends now. And then they give you a thumbs up and then you both decide.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah. I mean, if it's that kind of fight, then maybe.
Yeah. It's a beige flag, I guess.
Yeah, but that's a very serious fight. I don't think I've ever had like such a serious fight.
Yeah, me neither. Okay, final one. Red flag or green flag? Confronting your ghoster.
I do that sometimes, but with people I was actually attracted to or like that I felt like was possible. Like we could have hit it off, but why did you ghost me? Or why did you suddenly stop? Like I would ask that. Or...
But do you do it to just like actually understand, or do you do it a little vindictively?
I do it to understand because I actually like them. If I didn't like think I wanted something with them, I wouldn't. I would just move on.
Yeah, fair. I think it's a green flag as well. I just think we're all so avoidant now that we think it might not be a confrontation, might have been the wrong choice of word. Like it sounds a little more aggressive, but just actually asking the person, listen, it's okay if you want to ghost me, but can you at least give me an explanation?
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I didn't.
This is why
I ghosted you. I didn't want to give you an explanation.
Yeah, that's fair.